So, today I want to talk about watches. Smartwatches versus traditional watches. What I've found owning a smartwatch for maybe around 2 months now, how I think they compare and contrast, and why I think you possibly only need one of them in your life. So I've had this, it's the OnePlus Watch 2R. I've had it for about 2 months now, maybe a month and a half, not sure. Really got on well with it, took it on holiday, really enjoyed it, really like it. I wear it most days when I'm not at work. And yeah, I love it. And I think it's a great watch. It looks like a watch, it acts like a watch. It's not too big, it's not too chunky. It's a really nice watch. I think some of the features of smartwatches make them an excellent buy. I think features like sat nav, maybe a bit gimmicky. I'm not sure when you would use it over your phone, but it's got sat nav if you need it. But good things are things like your activity tracking. It tracks when you're walking, it tracks your steps, it can track a multitude of different activities like running, swimming, climbing. I don't know how it does climbing, boxing, it does. So many different activities that I think make it a really good watch. Some of the features that I think smartwatches have on them are brilliant. Other things like the notifications that it gives you. Obviously, this is a full-fledged smartwatch, so I get things like WhatsApp, my messages. I can just reply from my wrist if I want. I use swipe to text, so I can swipe to text to type out messages back and things like that. And it's a really nice feature, I think, to have. As I say, I work on trains, so it's good sometimes. I don't wear it at work, but when I go on trains and I've got it and my phone's in my pocket and I get a notification, I can see it, I can reply to it, I can do things like that. So yeah, really big difference, and it's something that I think is really good. Obviously, smartwatches, they have things like your heart rate tracker. Also, it has a load of different apps. It's got weather, you can control your music. It's got your wallet as well on here, and it's a really nice feature to have. As I say, I don't use it, but it is a good feature. So now if we have a brief chat about traditional watches. What is a traditional watch? A traditional watch is a watch that simply just tells you the time, whether it be a analog watch or something like this, a digital watch. A traditional watch it just tells you the time. That's its be all and end all. How it looks and how it feels, that's something completely different, whether you want a metal strap or you want a rubber or a silicone or whatever other strap you want. They just tell time, and they tell time in different ways, but that's what they do. They just tell time. So I got into watches. I don't know how I really got into watches. I think I stumbled across it, fell in love with watches, and been in love with watches ever since. My go-to type of watch is a dive watch, obviously a watch that are made for diving. 200 meters is usually the go-to standard for dive watches, but they do vary. But yeah, I've got quite a few dive watches, had more, lost one at the gym. That's a separate story. Still hurts me to this day. But really good. These are all automatic. These two are automatic. Obviously, that means no batteries or anything like that inside them. They just put them on your wrist, walk around with them for a little bit on your wrist, and then they start building charge, and then you set the time, and then they're good to go for a day, 2 days, depending on how you use it. But yeah, dive watches, really nice. I think another important factor when you're looking at a traditional watch is how it looks and what you want it to do, how you want it to feel for you. So obviously I like dive watches to be on metal straps. Obviously they do vary, but they all share a same sort of look. A traditional analog smartwatch. I like my watches to be automatic where possible. I don't want a massive face. If you look at the two faces put together, they are completely different in size. One is small, one is a lot bigger, but they still both fit your wrist really well. They don't look out of place. Another thing with the new wave of smartwatches is the battery. So I got really lucky and was holding out for a watch that I didn't have to charge every single day. And I found it with this. This lasts me a good 5-6 days. So really happy with that. If it didn't, I wouldn't have got a smartwatch. I would have still been wearing G-Shocks and my traditional watches because I didn't want a watch that I had to charge every day. I had a lot of watches like, I don't know, it's a Xiaomi Redmi watch, which is a fitness watch. It does a few basic smart tasks, like I could see notifications, could see messages, but I couldn't respond to them. I couldn't do anything. I could just see them. But yeah, these batteries, these last like 2 weeks. So really, really good battery life on things like these. But things like this G-Shock, it's solar powered, so it lasts forever. As long as there's sun or light, it will work. And yeah, that's a massive thing that I look for. Battery life. Battery life in regards to phones, watches, anything that's got a battery, it needs to be able to last long. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. I think the best thing and also the worst thing about having a smartwatch is the notifications that you get from your phone. I think it's good because you're able to be in contact with people and be able to respond to people and things like that. But I think it's bad because it also then leads you to look at your phone more often, check other things that you necessarily probably wouldn't have looked at if you weren't using a smartwatch. And you just have your technology in your hand a lot more, I would say. And I think that can be a downside in life in general. So I think style and aesthetics of watches are a big reason in why you pick up these watches in the first place. I think smartwatches have struggled to look like watches. You look at things like the Apple Watch, although they are hugely popular, they don't necessarily look like a watch because watches tend to be circle faces. So I think with watches like this, they hit the nail on the head with looking like a watch, not being too chunky, being circle faced, having two buttons, like similar to crown sort of thing, or necessarily a chronograph watch, if that's the right word. Whereas I think they look watchy. But yeah, I think in regards to like watch faces, you can have them so they look very much like a traditional watch, but you can have them where they do have their own certain things like the dates at the top and at the side on the dive watch. But I also do have my steps activities that if I want to switch to it, I don't even know what that one is. Oh, weather. But yeah, I think the good thing about having a smartwatch is that you are able to change the face. So if I didn't like that one, I could go for one like that, say. And there are faces that do just look like traditional watch faces. And these are all the ones that are just built in on the watch. So I could have one that looks like that, which just does just look like a traditional watch. Good thing about it as well, I can change the colour. So it can be green, it can be blue, it can be black, it can be red, or I can change the numbers to those colours as well. So there is a lot of customization you're able to do with having a smartwatch that I think benefit it greatly. I think as well when you look at smartwatches or you're a traditional watch wearer, when you buy a watch because of how it looks, whereas I think smartwatches you buy a watch because of what it can do. And by doing that, I think you're missing a lot of things that make traditional watches good. So if I look at watches like this, I bought this because of how it looked, because of the bracelet, because of how it feels. It's a heavy watch, and yeah, simple dial. That automatic seconds hand is just something really nice to watch. As they dive watches, obviously the water resistant to up to 200 meters. So they have a screw-in crown that stops any water getting in, and obviously a rotating bezel. So who are these two different watches for? Smartwatches, I think, for people that are active, out and about, going, want to know how many steps they've done, want to hit that milestone of 10,000 steps a day, want to know what the heart rate is or has been. I want to keep track of things in their life. I want to be able to always be in reach of friends and family, contacting people, being able to see notifications like Instagram, Twitter, whatever it may be, news, weather, all that good stuff. So hopefully you like that. It was just a quick brief video. I had a comment to talk about some of the watches that I owned in my collection, and hopefully I've been able to show you them. I will leave the names and stuff of the watches that I've shown and maybe some of the watches that I'm looking out for in the future. But yeah, I just wanted to do a quick comparison now that I've got a smartwatch, now that I've owned a smartwatch, and how I felt about using it. It's all been good, as I say. It's all been good using them all. and the different functions that they have in different day-to-day life scenarios that I use them for or I've used them for. Yeah, gonna keep them all, gonna keep adding to my watch collection. And yeah, if you like the video, obviously like and subscribe. It's been a blast, continue to be a blast, and I'll see you soon.